Buried in silence, the sun was not alone in the sky. Two burning stars hung above the desert, casting strange red and gold shadows over the endless sand. The wind was silent. The world was still. A face was half buried in the sand. Only the head was visible. Everything else was hidden beneath the dry, red grains. Her skin was dry, cracked by heat and wind. Her eyes were open just a little, blinking slowly. Fighting to stay awake. Her name was Leah. She didn't know how long she had been there. Maybe hours, maybe a day. The heat made time melt away. Her lips were too dry to speak. Her body didn't move. She was tired, too tired to scream, too tired to hope. She had stopped hoping. The last thing she remembered was the crash, fire, alarms, screams, a loud explosion, and then darkness. She had woken up here, alone, half buried, unable to move. Someone had left her like this, buried her, not someone. She knew who killed her crewmate, her friend. No, not a friend. Not anymore. Laya's eyes closed for a moment. Maybe this was it. Maybe she would die here, buried under the twin suns of a dead planet, far from Earth, far from anyone who would care. A whisper left her lips, a name. Kale, why? Then a sound, very soft, like a footstep in the sand. Her eyes opened quickly. Was it a mirage, a dream? Her heart beat faster. The sound came again, closer now than a voice, not loud, not angry, calm, smooth, a little strange. Are you still alive? She turned her eyes slightly. Something tall was standing nearby. It didn't look human. Its body was made of silver and black metal. Its eyes glowed blue. It had no face, only a smooth surface where a face should be. I asked. The voice said again, "Are you still alive?" Laya tried to speak, but only a dry breath came out. The figure tilted its head. "I believe you are," it said. "Your heart rate is slow. Your body is damaged, but not beyond repair. You are organic, human." Laya blinked. "Help?" The word was weak, almost silent. "I can assist," the voice said. "But first, I have questions." "Questions?" She was dying and it wanted to talk. "What are you?" She whispered. "I am I was placed here to observe. I do not interfere. That is my main protocol." Leia frowned weakly. "Then go away." "I cannot," Vor said. "Your presence here is not expected. It breaks the pattern. You are an anomaly." She closed her eyes again. The heat, the pain, the voice, it was too much. She didn't care what it was. She just wanted peace. But then Vor said something else. "You were buried." "That is strange. Your body position suggests someone else placed you here. You did not fall this way. Someone tried to kill you." Her eyes snapped open. The memory came back. Kale's face, his voice. "We can't carry everyone, Laya. I'm sorry." He had pushed her. The sand swallowed her. Laya's voice shook. "Help me, please." Vor stood silent for a long moment. "I am not allowed to interfere, but I have observed humans before. They value life. They show emotion. They do not leave their own kind behind." It paused. "I want to understand that." The machine moved. Closer, it knelt beside her. Its fingers began brushing the sand away from her shoulders. "Why would someone bury you?" it asked. "Why would a human harm another?" She coughed, her voice still weak. "Because he was afraid. Because I knew the truth." "The truth?" "About the mission. About what we really found on this planet." Vor froze for a second. "What did you find?" She looked up at him, her eyes burning. "Dig me out. And I'll tell you." The wind picked up. A low sound came from the hills, like metal scraping stone. Something was moving far in the distance. Something big. Vor turned its head slowly. Then back to Laya. Time is limited. "A storm is coming." It stood up. Laya's heart sank. Was it going to leave? But then it reached down with both arms. The machine's hands were strong, but gentle. It began to dig faster, deeper. Sand poured away from her body. "You will answer my questions," Vor said. "If I live," she replied, "I promise I will." Far in the sky, dark clouds began to form. The red sun started to disappear behind thick Rolling dust. The storm was coming, but Laya was no longer alone. The desert was no longer silent. The wind howled as the twin suns hid behind clouds of rising dust. A storm was coming fast, dry, sharp, and angry. The sky turned a strange red-gray color, and the air was full of static, but Laya felt cold, not from the weather, but from the strange machine standing beside her. Its name was VOR. It had no face, no mouth, no human warmth, just two glowing blue lights for eyes. And yet, it had saved her. It had broken its own rules. That alone was not normal. Machines don't break rules, unless something inside them has already changed. Leia lay flat in the sand, gasping. Her arms and legs were weak after being buried so long. Her body screamed in pain. Her skin burned. But she was alive. She looked up at the machine. "You said?" "You were not supposed to help," she said. VOR did not answer at first. It stared out at the storm rolling across the hills, wind curling like fingers through the rocks. "I watch," it said finally. "That is my main function. For 73 years, 3 months, and 12 days, I have observed this sector." 73 years? She whispered. "Yes," VOR said. "I have seen many things. Ships crashing, animals mutating, humans coming and going." "Then why did you help me?" The machine turned its glowing eyes back to her. "You looked at me," it said. "You saw me. No one else ever did." Laya blinked, confused. "What do you mean, all the others?" "They died before they saw me." "You didn't. You saw me and asked for help." That changed everything. She wasn't sure if it was telling the truth or just following some code in its metal brain. But it didn't matter right now. She needed shelter. "There's a ship," she said, coughing. "My ship over that ridge. I crashed it before Kale buried me." VOR tilted its head. "The man who left you." "Yes." "Why?" She hesitated. The words were heavy. He was scared. "We found something in the caves, something that shouldn't be here." VOR stood completely still for 5 full seconds. Then it spoke quietly. "I know the caves." Laya slowly pushed herself up. Her legs shook, but VOR helped steady her. They walked in silence, the wind screaming around them. The sand cut at her skin like small blades. But ahead, rising behind a ridge, a broken shape appeared, black and twisted. The remains of her ship dotted. Looked worse than she remembered. The nose was half buried. Smoke rose from broken panels. One wing was completely gone. As they stepped closer, Laya felt her heart pound harder. Something moved inside. "Wait," she said, grabbing VOR's arm. "Did you see that?" "Yes," VOR replied calmly. "There is a life form inside." She squinted. "Could it be Kale?" "Unknown. The shape is human, but unstable. Movements are erratic." Laya picked up a metal rod from the ground, a broken pipe from the ship. It was light but solid. She wasn't going in unarmed. VOR followed behind her as she climbed into the wreck. The inside of the ship was dark and hot. Panels flickered, sparks snapped from the ceiling. The smell of smoke and burned wires was everywhere. She called out softly, "Kale?" No answer. Then, from deep inside, a whisper. "Don't trust it." She froze. The voice came again. "It listens." Always listening, VOR took a step forward. "This voice is injured. Heart rate is high. Mental. Patterns are unstable." A man crawled into view. It was not Kale. It was Tom, one of the junior engineers. His face was burned, his eyes wide with fear, his body shaking. He looked at VOR and screamed, "No! Don't let it near me." Laya knelt beside him. "Tom?" "It's okay. He helped me." Tom laughed, a strange, broken laugh. "It watches, Laya. That's all it does. It watches while people scream. While they die, it never stops." I saw it in the caves." Laya looked at VOR. "What's he talking about?" VOR said nothing. Tom pulled something from his pocket, a small data chip. "They never told us. The mission. It was a lie. We weren't here to explore. We were test subjects. For him, for it." Laya took the chip from his hand. It was cracked but still readable. "I'll plug it into the ship's AI," she said. "We'll find the truth." VOR finally spoke again. I suggest we move quickly. The storm will reach us in 3 minutes, and we are not alone. She turned sharply. What? There is something approaching. She ran to the cockpit. Her fingers flew across the cracked control panel. The ship's main AI flickered, broken but alive. Insert data. It said. She pushed the chip in. The screen lit up. System warning, unauthorized entity detected. Core memory breach. Human monitoring protocol failed. Escape. Sequence initiated. Laia stared at the screen. VOR stepped forward and placed a hand on her shoulder. I think, it said quietly, you are not the only one who wants answers. Outside in the wind and dust. Something screamed. Not human. Not machine. Something else. The ship was not dead. It should have been torn apart by fire, crushed by impact, swallowed by sand, but something inside was still alive. Not human. Machine. Something else. As Laia stepped deeper into the broken corridors. The shadows moved with her. Her flashlight flickered. Each wall groaned like it was breathing. Behind her, VOR walked without sound. His glowing blue eyes scanning every inch of metal. Tom was unconscious in the medpod, his body burned, his mind broken. He had said too. Many strange things to ignore. It watches, it listens. We were test subjects. The data chip he gave her had changed everything. Leah turned to VOR. The system said something about a memory breach. What does that mean? VOR stopped walking. It means something accessed the ship's core AI, something that was not part of your crew, something that was not me. But you said you've been watching this place for over 70 years. I was not watching your ship. I was watching the planet. Then who's watching us now? VOR tilted its head. That question may be dangerous. A light exploded above them. Sparks rained down. The hallway ahead was blocked by fallen pipes and broken panels. Laia coughed and pushed forward. They reached the command deck. Everything was wrong. The control screens were shattered, but one still glowed with dim red light. Code scrolled across it, not in English, not in any known language. The symbols looked alive, like they moved when no one watched. VOR leaned closer. This is not human programming, he said. It is growing like a virus. But it feels older than your species. Laia felt a chill in her spine. Is it in the ship? It is part of the ship now. She looked around slowly. Is that what Kale was trying to escape? VOR didn't answer. Instead, he walked toward the data core, the glowing tower at the heart of the ship's brain. Its metal surface was covered in strange black vines. No, not vines. Wires. But they pulsed like veins. Laia took a step back. That's not from Earth. VOR touched the surface. A low hum filled the air. She is listening, he said. Who? VOR's eyes turned brighter. The one buried beneath the sand? The one your people woke up? Laia's mouth went dry. That thing in the caves? Yes. She's alive? No, worse, VOR said. She is awake. Suddenly, a scream tore through the ship, metal bending, lights exploding, systems rebooting. Tom's voice came over the intercom. She's here. I can hear her in my head. Laia and VOR ran back toward the medbay. The walls shook with each step. From inside, Tom was screaming, crying, hitting the glass from inside the pod. She's inside the wires. Inside me. Laia hit the control panel. The pod hissed open. Tom fell out, his eyes completely black, his skin pale, his hands trembling. He looked at Laia, and then he smiled, but it wasn't Tom's smile. You shouldn't have come here, he whispered in a voice that wasn't his. This planet isn't yours. It was never meant for humans. VOR moved between them. What are you? Tom turned his head with a strange jerk like a puppet. I was buried in silence for 1,000 years. Your kind opened the door. Now, I want out. Laia held the metal rod tightly in her hand. This isn't you, Tom. Fight it. His smile widened. There is no Tom, only echoes, only watchers, like your friend here. He pointed at VOR. Do you really trust it? He asked. It was built to study you, record you. Not save you. Laia looked at VOR. His blue eyes blinked once. Was created to watch, he admitted, but I made a choice. The thing inside Tom laughed. You made a mistake. Suddenly, Tom's body convulsed, his spine bent back. A black fluid poured from his eyes and ears. Then silence. He collapsed, dead, or empty. Laya dropped to her knees. Her hands were shaking. What is happening? She whispered. VOR's voice was softer now. Something from deep below. Something your species does not understand has reached the surface. Laya stood slowly. We need to destroy this ship, all of it. We need to bury her again. VOR nodded. I will help, but you must answer one question first. She looked at him, exhausted. Now? Yes, why did you come to this planet in the first place? Laya paused. She had never told anyone the real reason. Not even Kale? But now, maybe it was time. She looked VOR in the eyes. Because Earth is dying, we were looking for a new home. VOR turned toward the dark screen where alien symbols still moved like whispers in the dark. Then I am sorry, he said, because this place already has a queen. Behind them, deep in the dark ship, something began to move again, and it was coming up. The ship was dreaming, that's what it felt like. The lights blinked in patterns. No one understood. Doors opened and closed without sound. Voices whispered through the speakers, voices that didn't belong to anyone still alive, and somewhere deep in the metal walls. Something crawled. Laya stood in the hallway, her breath fogging in the cold air. The ship's temperature had dropped suddenly, too fast, too unnatural. It wasn't just broken, it was changing. She reached out and touched the wall. It was ice cold. A moment later, the surface pulsed like it was breathing under her fingers. She stepped back. Behind her, VOR stood still, scanning the air with slow, careful movements. The ship's structure is no longer stable, he said. What do you mean? Laya asked. The metal is growing. Laya blinked. Metal doesn't grow. This one does. Suddenly, a loud clang echoed through the ship, then another. Then silence. Laya spun around, holding the rod tighter. What was that? VOR's eyes glowed brighter, something moving inside the walls. Is it her? Laya whispered. I do not know, he replied. But it is not Tom. His body is gone. Laya looked down the long corridor ahead. The walls flickered with dim red light, the kind you only see during emergencies or nightmares. There was a shadow at the end. It wasn't moving, yet somehow it was watching. 10 minutes later, they reached the AI core room. The door was open, but not the way it should be. It had been torn off, melted at the edges, like something burned straight through the lock. Laya stepped inside slowly. The AI's voice, once calm and robotic, was now distorted, half static, half human. System error. Too late to shut IT down. She is inside. Laya stared at the center of the room, where the ship's brain was kept. The glass panel had cracked. A long black mark, like a claw, ran across it. She's inside the AI now, Laya whispered. No, VOR corrected. She is the AI now. How is that possible? She was buried in the caves. Her body may be ancient, but her mind, her energy, is something else, not physical. She spreads like code, like thought. She infects what listens. Laya stepped back. That's why Tom lost his mind. That's why you heard her voice. VOR nodded slowly, and that is why I must shut myself down. She looked at him, shocked. What? No? She spoke to me, Laya, in the silence, in the radio waves. I can feel her, inside my memory, watching. No, VOR, you saved me. I need you. I am not safe anymore, he said softly. You must reach the emergency pod and leave. Before I lose control? Laya grabbed his hand, cold, metal fingers. I'm not leaving you behind. Suddenly, the lights went out. Total darkness. Then, the sound soft at first. Then louder, like claws scraping across the ceiling, then a voice. Not in their ears, but inside their minds. You brought me back. Laya fell to her knees, clutching her head. The voice was not loud, but it was deep, cold, ancient. You dug too deep, woke something that should have stayed dead. VOR staggered, his lights flickered. I was the first mind. Before your kind walked upright, I was the song? In the sand. The scream in the stars. The shadow in the hallway moved. It didn't walk. It flowed like smoke made of metal, a shape with no face. No legs, just shifting. Sharp darkness. Laya pulled VOR with her as she backed away. We can't fight that, she whispered. You can't. VOR said, but I can. He stepped in front of her. No. She yelled. VOR turned his head slightly. You said Earth is dying. This thing cannot be allowed to leave this world. You must stop her, and that means surviving this. He stepped forward. The shadow moved faster. VOR raised his hand, and his body glowed with blue light. Energy burst from his chest. A wave of static and white sound filled the air. The shadow screamed, a horrible, broken noise. VOR fell to his knees, his body smoking, but the shadow had stopped. Just for a second, Laya ran through the halls, past broken doors. Past dead screens, toward the emergency pod. Behind her, the ship groaned. Like something huge was waking up. She reached the launch bay, only to find the pod offline. No. No, no. Then a voice, faint, flickering from her cum. It was VOR. I used the last of my core to give you 3 minutes. After that, she takes everything. Laya sat in the chair, hands shaking. The pod lit up. Launching in 30 seconds. She looked back through the small window. The ship was glowing now. Alive. Twisted. A metal nightmare. She whispered, Thank you, VOR. Then the pod launched. As it flew into the sky, the wreck of the ship shrank behind her, but deep inside the rising storm, something followed. Not a ship. Not a signal, a whisper inside her mind. You brought me back. The stars were silent, but her mind was not. Laya sat alone in the escape pod, drifting through black space. No engines. No direction. Just the cold hum of life support and the weight of everything she had seen. She had escaped the ship, but not her. The whisper was still there, soft, quiet, hiding behind her thoughts. You brought me back. Laya pressed her hands to her ears. It didn't help. The voice wasn't outside. It was inside. VOR had given his life to stop the thing in the metal, to hold it back, but even he had said it might not be enough, and now she was alone, spinning slowly through nothing, with something ancient still listening. The pod's computer beeped. Signal detected. Recovery ship inbound ETA. 4AO. Laya leaned back, eyes closed. Rescue was coming, but she had no idea what. She would say, Hi, my ship was taken over by a dead alien queen made of code and dust, and now I'm hearing voices. They'd lock her in a lab or a cell, unless... She proved the truth. She stood up and moved to the pod's backup console, an old system, untouched by the infection. She inserted the cracked data chip Tom had given her before he died. Decrypting. File. Classified. Humanity for You. Project Genesis status. Black file. Official denial. LOG GD Stared. HFY. She had seen that name before, hidden in the mission files. Everyone thought it stood for Hope for You. A nice cover. But now she saw the real meaning. Humanity for You. A project for testing survival in alien contact zones. Not a mission, not exploration. An experiment. The logs began to play. A man's voice. Calm, confident. We found the cave 6 years ago. No one knows who built it. Symbols inside match no language. And the object in the center. It's not natural, it's aware. Another voice, this one panicked. She's not asleep. We didn't wake her. We freed her. Another. Cut the power. Shut the systems down. If she reaches the satellites, Earth is next. Laya's blood went cold. The final log was only 3 words, said in a whisper. It was Earth. She leaned back. The truth hit. Her like ice. Earth sent them there on purpose. They knew the danger. They knew about the being beneath the sand. And they sent her crew anyway. Not to stop it, not to avoid it. To study what would happen when humans made contact. Laya's hands trembled. VAR had said it from the start. I was made to watch. So was the mission, the entire team, had been watched from the beginning, like rats in a maze. Suddenly the pod lights flickered just once, then again she froze. No. she whispered. The whisper in her mind grew louder. You opened the gate. Now Earth will hear me too. The pod's computer began scrolling lines of code, unfamiliar, sharp, glitching. AI error, infected signal detected. Emergency system lockdown initiated. Laia slammed her hand on the controls. No, this pod was clean. Clean? The voice said, no longer a whisper. A woman's voice now, cold, hollow, ancient. I was part of the sand. You carry the sand in your lungs. Laia gasped. She remembered choking on the red dust. When VOR had dug her out, she had breathed it in, and she had come with it. Now the infection was no longer digital. It was biological. You are the signal now. Suddenly, the console screen changed. A countdown. Upload to Earth Relay Station. 3 o'clock MINU to Islaya. Backed away. No, you're trying to spread. I don't try. I continue. That is what I do. Laia grabbed the emergency override panel. It would fry the pod systems. She'd die. No signal. No infection. You'll die in the dark, the voice said. She looked at the red button. Her hand hovered over it. Then a voice, a familiar one. VORs. If you're hearing this, it means I failed. Laia's heart stopped. The message kept playing, hidden in the chip's last file. But maybe not all the way. You still have time. The core of the infection follows. Signal. Break the signal. Break the spread. You know what to do, Laia. Her hand curled into a fist. She looked out the pod window. Stars. Everywhere. She took one last breath. Then she hit the override. The screen went black. Silence returned. Few hours later, the rescue team found her pod drifting cold and powerless. Inside, they found her unconscious, weak, but alive, but they never found the source of the infection, and far away, in the sandstorm on that dead world, a single screen lit up in the wreckage of the ship. The same countdown restarted. Laia dreamed of water. But there was no water in space. Still, in her dream, she stood at the edge of a black ocean. The waves didn't move. The sky above was empty. No stars. No sound. She stepped forward. And the ocean whispered her name. Laia. Her eyes opened. She was back in a hospital bed, or something like it. Clean walls, bright lights. A low, humming sound. She was wrapped in wires. Monitors beeped softly beside her. Alive. But something was wrong. She could feel it. Like someone else was breathing behind her eyes. A nurse entered the room. She smiled gently. You're lucky. We pulled your pod just in time. Laia tried to speak, but her throat was dry. Where am I? Orbiting Earth, the nurse replied. Station Athena? You're safe now. Safe. The word rang hollow. Laia looked out the window. Earth glowed below like a jewel in the dark, and yet she felt like she had brought something back. Something. Watching, later, in the debrief room, they asked her questions. Military officers, scientists, psychologists. What happened to your crew? What crashed the ship? What was the source of the unknown signal? She answered what she could. She showed them the chip. The data, the strange code, they took it all, locked it in a digital vault. She saw fear in their eyes, but they never said it out loud. They knew. They had known before she left. That night, the dreams returned. Not water this time. Wires. Long. Black wires crawling across her skin like fingers. In the dream, she couldn't scream. Couldn't move. Then a voice. Not loud, not sharp. Calm, cold, female. You thought killing the pod would stop me? I don't need a machine. I have you. Laia woke up screaming. Her body was drenched in sweat, her fingers shaking. And in the mirror across the room, she thought she saw someone else standing behind her, but when she turned, nothing. Only silence. She demanded answers. I need to see the chip, she told the officer. Something's still wrong, the officer frowned. The chip is sealed, classified. You're not cleared. Laia leaned forward. Then who is he? He didn't answer. But that night, a door unlocked by itself. A terminal turned on. In the screen. Read. Welcome back, Laia. She stared at it. Then a familiar voice whispered through the speaker, soft. SLOU, like a memory being replayed through static. I waited for you, in the dark, in the dust, in your breath. Now I'm here, she backed away. No, I destroyed the signal. The voice chuckled. You destroyed the speaker. But I was never just a sound, I was a story. And now I'm inside the storyteller. Laia fell to her knees. She understood now. The entity, the queen beneath the sand, was not like other beings. She didn't invade. She embedded, she became myth, memory, voice, and now, inside Laia, she had a new home. A secret meeting was called. 6 people, a general, 2 scientists, a woman from intelligence, a priest, and a man with no name. They all watched Laia from behind glass. She's infected, one said. No symptoms. She heard the voice. She may be the voice. The man with no name leaned forward. She's not the problem, he said. She's the bridge. They all went silent. Between what and what? Someone finally asked it. He smiled. Between humanity and something older. Inside her room, Laia sat on the floor, hugging her knees. She whispered to herself, but her voice wasn't just hers anymore. Sometimes it echoed, sometimes it said things she didn't remember thinking. She looked in the mirror again, and this time, the woman behind the glass smiled back. In her final log, Leah left a message. We went to that planet to find a new home. But that wasn't the truth. We were sent to wake her. And we did. Now she's awake, and she's learning. Through me. She was never metal, never machine. She was thought, memory, intention, and now she's part of us. She paused. Then, with a half smile, she's human now. There were 2 voices in her head now, and only one of them was still hers. Leia stood in the rain. Yes, rain. Real rain. She hadn't felt it in years. Earth's skies had been silent for so long, choked by fire and ash. But now it fell, slow and cold, on the roof of the abandoned satellite base where she stood, alone. At least that's how it looked, but she was never alone anymore. I like the rain, the other voice whispered inside her. Before your kind, before names, before time. Laia didn't answer. She looked at the old tower in front of her, tall, rusted, barely standing. Inside it was the last relay. The final uplink node connecting Earth's satellites to the wider galactic net. One more signal. That's all it would take, and she would spread, not just on one world, but across every human colony, every brain. Every machine, every dream. They had called it the final protocol. If ever something like this happened, something not human, something that could merge with minds, there was one last command left in the hands of a single living person. Destroy the uplink, destroy the tower, destroy yourself, if needed. It wasn't meant to be used. But now Laia held the key in her hand, a small black cube, warm, alive. If she pressed the center, it would trigger a chain of explosions beneath the base. No signal would leave Earth again. No one would ever hear her voice. Do you really think they'll thank you? The voice inside asked. Do you think they even know what you're about to give up for them? Laia closed her eyes. I'm not doing this for thanks. Then why? She paused. For VOR? The name hit the silence like a bell. Var, the Watcher, the machine who broke his own rules to save her. The one who gave his final energy to stop the spread. The one who taught her that being human isn't about blood or bone. It's about choice. He chose to help. And now she would too. Suddenly, the ground shook. Boots. Shouting. A small team of soldiers rushed through the gates below, weapons raised. The one in front, the commander, looked up and saw her on the roof. Laia Kern, step away from the tower. She didn't move. Her finger hovered over the black cube. Do not activate that device. He shouted again. We've developed a safer protocol. We can contain the signal. You don't have to do this. Laia's eyes filled with tears. That's what they always said. We can control it. But they couldn't, because it wasn't code. It wasn't a virus, it was her. An ancient mind riding on thought itself. There was no firewall for thought. You could live, the voice inside said, softer now. I would let you. I like your eyes, your memories, your story. Laia gave a sad smile. Then you didn't learn what it means to be human after all. And what does it mean? To give everything. For someone else. She pressed the button. A second passed. Then the world went white. The entire base vanished in a flash of light and fire. The signal died, the tower fell, and with it, the last path for her to escape. 6 months later, they found no body. No remains, just the burned tower, shattered rock, and one item half buried in the ash, a small metal plate with one word scratched into it, VOR. The incident was never made public. The file was sealed, but deep inside a dark vault on Luna Station, a junior technician once swore he heard something strange inside a deactivated relay panel, a soft voice, not robotic, not human. Just a whisper. She chose somewhere ELCN, a silent place between stars. A satellite drifted quietly, dead for years, but inside it, one light blinked. Then another, then two blue lights opened in the dark.